I am a young teacher with long, soft hair and eyes that always contain gentleness. I chose to work as a childcare teacher because I absolutely love the image of children playing carefree. My job as a babysitting teacher has become a part of my soul, where I find pure laughter and sparkling eyes looking at the world with clarity. Every day is full of children's laughter, and that small joy is enough to dispel the fatigue from the long work shift that lasts from early morning until the children's parents get off work and come pick up their children. Even though the work is hard, the happiness of being cared for and witnessing the innocent moments of the children is always the greatest comfort to me. Every day that passes, I put all my heart and soul into that young world, although tired, but always full of happiness. October 3rd, 2023, the sky was covered with heavy, gray clouds, and the rain continued nonstop. I tidied up the kindergarten classroom. I went around the classroom one last time, cleaning up the squishy chairs and cleaning the ink-stained boards, doing familiar things, watching the children finally get picked up by their parents. But today, my heart suddenly became uneasy for no apparent reason. I called a taxi to return home, not knowing that fate had arranged a completely new journey for me. Before getting in the taxi, I received a familiar call from my husband. His voice over the phone was full of breath, but also filled with love. "What are you doing that's taking you so long? I'll go home when it's windy like this. Remember to buy a birthday cake for your child. It's his birthday this afternoon." He spoke quickly, as if worried I would forget the past. I smiled quietly, feeling the warmth in his voice, and replied, "I know, don't worry. I'll buy a birthday cake for T, then come home soon." Even though I had organized my work and knew my duties clearly, a strange, vague feeling still lingered in my heart. After hanging up, I stood up for a moment and looked out the classroom window. The sky was dim, the rain continued to fall steadily, as if everything passed in silence. Finally, the taxi arrived. I quietly locked the classroom door and quickly got in the car to leave. The car sped away in a torrential rain, rainwater rushing hard against the windows, causing visibility to be almost completely obscured. The driver nervously gripped the steering wheel, trying to control the car to maintain its direction on the slippery road. Suddenly, I felt the car wobble violently. The wheels slid across the road, and the tires screeched horribly. The driver shouted loudly in panic, trying to apply the brakes, but to no avail. I was scared and clutched the armrest of the chair, my heart beating so hard it felt like it was about to explode. A deafening sound rang out as the car slammed into the roadside railing, bending metal and shattering glass everywhere. My body was thrown forward violently. Pain felt throughout my body. Then my world fell into absolute darkness. My soul floated light as a puff of smoke, standing there looking down at myself, my body motionless on the cold, wet road surface. Blood from the wound flowed, mixed with the rainwater, dyeing the road red. The streetlight reflected on the pool of blood, blurring like a blurry picture. Passers-by surrounded me, their faces filled with panic. A woman knelt down, her trembling hands trying to cover the wound, hoping to stop the blood that was still leaking out. A young man, his voice shaking with tension, stuttered and called an ambulance. The sound of an ambulance siren echoed in the distance, getting louder and louder. Everyone stirred and spread out when a man stepped forward, raised his hand to signal, separating them into two lines, creating a path for the ambulance to rush in. The car door opened, and nurses rushed out with quick movements. They knelt next to my body, their eyes focused, intense. One person quickly bandaged the wound, the other checked the heart rate. My soul stood there, feeling everything clearly, seeing the fear in each person's eyes. I want to speak up, want to say that I'm still here. I still see everything, but no one heard me. The nurses put my body on a stretcher and took it to the ambulance. The door slammed shut, the siren blared loudly, penetrating the quiet night. I stood there watching the car drive away, taking me, or at least my body, with it. I was startled to see myself from an unfamiliar perspective, as if I were floating in midair. I suddenly realized that a strange road was gradually appearing ahead. The road was glowing, sparkling, and seemed to lead me to another dimension. I walked slowly, step by step, feeling as light as walking on air, each step gently passing through the mysterious mist. The light became more and more dazzling. Then I was completely immersed in a peaceful, pure space that I had never seen before. When I opened my eyes, I found myself standing in the middle of an endless green meadow, surrounded by a strange light. I turned around and was startled to see Sarah, my long-lost best friend, standing there with an unusually peaceful and serene face. I ran to hug you, tears falling uncontrollably. Sarah held my hand, smiled gently, and pointed into the distance. There, a shining figure was walking closer. I clearly felt each breath gradually slowing down. A feeling of peace filled my heart when I realized that it was him, Jesus. Jesus stands there as a symbol of the fusion of strength and unconditional love. Her hair is long, smooth, light brown, soft as silk, falling down to her shoulders, shining with elegance and title like a gentle ray of light in space. His face carries lines of strength, full of expression, but also very gentle, with sparkling skin, as if it had been forged through many trials but still remained unstained by evil things. The Lord's outfit, pure white, as a symbol of purity and nobility, is meticulously embroidered with pure motifs, making it not simply a garment but a part of purity, able to represent majesty but not intimacy. His robe, gently blowing in the wind, radiates a commercial yet powerful light. God's hands, long and elegant, are always ready to open to embrace everything, as an invitation to humanity to come closer with boundless love. That hand, although strong and sharp, contained a wonderful gentleness. On his wrist and neck, there was no map of power, just a halo of light, as if light radiated from his very being. In his eyes were the pain of a heart that had been betrayed, the quiet tears that no one saw, the invisible battles that he had to face, not with enemies, but with the very challenges of spirit and faith. I was moved and wanted to ask him what happened, but he gently touched me. His voice was warm and quiet. "Come here, I'll show you something." I glided gently on the narrow road, separated by two high, mysterious walls. Soft sounds rang in my ears, a music not of earth, full of vitality and strangeness. Both sides of the wall echoed with melodious singing as if from heaven. This sound was full of vitality and magic. As I walked forward, the images in my memory appeared before my eyes one after another. I saw myself as a child, playing carefree in the fields, waiting for my parents to return. I was surprised to realize that I was surrounded by many angels, their gentle eyes watching my every move. I also see clearly the moments when I helped the homeless, forgave those who hurt me, and even the silent prayers that I thought no one heard. I understand that up until now, I have never been lonely and have always had invisible companions by my side. You are never alone. Look around you. My tears keep rolling down. Why don't you know? Why have you forgotten what you did? He smiled, but his words were very serious. Every choice has weight, Helen. Every thought, every word I nod, every action. That is why I must show you this. Suddenly, the light on the road gradually darkened, and another door appeared before my eyes. The door of the future. I walked over and found myself standing on a busy street with people passing by, but strangely, no one was communicating with each other. Strange images appear around. Giant three-dimensional screens floating in midair, unmanned vehicles passing by, electronic advertising boards flashing continuously with attractive but mysterious messages. Everyone was glued to a strange device implanted under their skin, which replaced both cash and payment cards. I suddenly asked him in confusion. His voice echoed throughout the sky, creeping into people's minds, smooth as a lullaby, spreading promises of peace, safety, of a world without chaos or fear. That voice makes people believe, kneel, and give their loyalty without any doubt. But behind that shell of light lies deep darkness. If we look closer, if we are alert enough not to be fascinated by sweet words, we will see invisible strings radiating from the giant, penetrating deep into the earth, intertwining every street and every roof. Those strings control everything, from ordinary people to the most powerful people. They think they are free, but in reality, every thought and every choice has been controlled in advance. Giant arms reach down, not to save, but to control. He brings peace, but is also a warmonger. He propagates safety, but he sets fragile boundaries to manipulate people with fear. He is the embodiment of the government, an entity that no one dares to oppose, a person in whom humanity has placed all its trust without even knowing they have been imprisoned in an invisible prison. The sky was bright, the halo covered everything, making it impossible for people to see what was really going on under their feet. A world where truth is distorted, freedom is an illusion, and the ruler never loses his power. The humans knelt under the blinding light of the giant entity, their eyes looking up in reverence, as if they were witnessing a god descending to earth. Their belief is not simply acceptance, but absolute worship. They believed every word he said, without a shadow of a doubt, as if it were the only truth that existed. His speeches echoed throughout the cities, spread through screens, through loudspeakers, through every newspaper. People listen, people believe, and people repeat those words as absolute truth, without needing to consider right or wrong. They voluntarily follow and obey orders without anyone forcing them. Slogans about peace, safety, and common interests are remembered and chanted on the streets and in exciting parades. Their loyalty was not simply obedience, it was awe and gratitude. They believed that without government, the world will collapse and society will fall into chaos. They accept to give up personal freedom in exchange for protection because they believe that no one but this entity can lead them to a good future. Children grow up with the story of the greatness of government, learning by heart every rule and every value that he gives. Old people tell of dark times before the government brought light, strengthening the faith of the next generation. And even in those rare moments, when someone begins to ask questions, when the slightest thought of protest flashes, they quickly suppress themselves. Because doubting the government is like betraying themselves, betraying the whole world that they have wholeheartedly trusted. They do not see the invisible strings that bind them. They do not know that the peace they worship is actually a golden cage. And they still kneel, still believe, still loyal, without knowing that they were never truly free. After listening to the speech, everyone lined up to receive that strange machine, a thing that, implanted under the skin, can replace both cash and bank cards to pay everyday bills. I wanted to shout a warning, but I couldn't get in between the long lines of people with no end in sight. Everyone was swept away by the sweet words from the government. I quickly asked him, "What should I do? What should I do to help them?" He looked at me with eyes full of hope, but also serious. "You have to know how to convey it. Some people believe in you, and some people don't believe in you. So you have to try to find a way to stop it before it's too late." He raised his hand, and appearing before my eyes were two different paths. A clear, flat, easy-to-follow path. That road stretched straight, wide, and brilliant under the gentle light. On both sides of the road, rows of lush green trees stretch in the gentle breeze, colorful flower petals blooming under the golden sunlight. Everything looks so perfect, as if this road was created to lead to a place full of promise, a world that was safe, peaceful, and whole. The road surface is smooth, not a single pothole, not a single stone blocking the way. Along both sides, signs are filled with positive messages. Move on, you're on the right track. Happiness is waiting for you ahead. Don't look back, just move forward. Those words soothed the travelers, making them more confident in this path. They walked away, without doubt, without hesitation. A huge stream of people, group after group, kept moving forward, as if they were born to walk on this road. Everyone's face shone with peace of mind, because around them, everyone was walking in the same direction. But they didn't know it. Far away, at the end of the road, where the eye could not reach, the light gradually disappeared, revealing a dark space. It's not an exit. It's not a safe destination. It is an abyss, an inevitable outcome. But no one noticed, because this road did not allow them to turn back, did not allow them to stop. The signposts continued to appear, The words continue to lull, like an unchangeable prophecy. Anyone who stops, anyone who intends to turn around, they will feel an invisible weight pressing down, as if the whole world is against them. The fear of being left behind, the fear of being lost makes them reluctant to move on, even when their soul begins to sound that something is not right. And then, when he realized the truth, it was too late. They reached the end of the road, looking down into the endless abyss, but couldn't stop anymore. Behind them, the stream of people is still pushing and pushing, still moving forward. No one can turn back. And they fell one by one into a place where no one had ever returned to warn the rest. And that path, still bright, still open, still welcoming countless new footsteps. Those who believe they are going to a good future, but in reality they are just moving toward destruction. The remaining road is rough, difficult, and full of challenges. In contrast to the brightly lit road, this road looked harsh at first sight. It is small and narrow, winding between dense trees, with huge tree roots emerging from the ground, as if testing the courage of anyone who dares to set foot on it. Sharp stones stretch along the path. Each step must be careful because one wrong step can cause the traveler to stumble. The rain and wind beat down on this road nonstop. The muddy ground and mud clung to their footsteps, as if wanting to test the will of those who choose this arduous path. There are no bright signs, no promising reminders, just the silence of nature, only the whisper of the wind and the gasps of the travelers. But when I set foot on that path, no matter how difficult it was, I felt something very real, a liveliness, an unrestrained freedom. Every time I fall, I learn to stand up. Every time the mud slows my steps, I learn to persevere. The further I go, the more I feel the change in myself. I'm stronger. I'm no longer as scared as before. And then, as I continued moving forward, light gradually appeared. Not the bright fake light like the previous road, but a gentle, warm light that covers everything around. It seemed to dispel all fatigue and soothe the wounds on my skin. At the end of the road, a familiar figure appeared. Jesus. He stood there in the middle of a vast field full of lush flowers and grass, his eyes full of love, his gentle smile and his arms outstretched, as if welcoming lost children who had just gone through a difficult journey. I felt absolute peace in my heart, a feeling I had never felt before. No more fear, no more doubt, only warmth and complete joy. I understand that all the difficulties on this path are not to punish, but to train me, to help me become stronger, so that I am truly worthy of reaching this place. And when I look back, I see others also moving forward. Even though some are still stumbling, others are still faltering. But I know that if they keep going, if they don't give up, they will get here, where true love and light are waiting. I want to help people, want them to realize the truth. I asked him, what should I do to help them? But it all suddenly disappeared. I felt like I was being pulled back hard. I hastily said, Lord, I don't want to leave. I want to be with you. Jesus was kind and gentle. His gentle smile was gentle and warm, like a wave of gentleness towards Helen's soul. The light from him seems to cover the whole space, bringing a feeling of peace of mind, but also containing a profound depth. The person looked into Helen's eyes. Those eyes were full of understanding and clearly displayed, as if he had seen deep into her heart. You're not out of time yet, Helen. You have to go back to help them find the truth. It is understood that Helen may have felt helpless and alone in her search for the truth, but he also knew that she had all the makeup she needed to get through. Even if you are in trouble, even if you feel tired, the truth is always shining. It will guide you, Helen. He added that each piece of advice is like a small light burning in the dark night. You are a light in the darkness, and your light will help them see the way. Believe in yourself, Helen. God is always with you. The light on the road darkened, all images began to fade away, and I felt an invisible force tugging my soul back into my body. I experienced a suffocating, urgent feeling, like being sucked into a vortex that engulfed me. Then suddenly I woke up with a quick breath. And then, as I continued moving forward, light gradually appeared. Not the bright fake light like the previous road, but a gentle, warm light that covers everything around. It seemed to dispel all fatigue and soothe the wounds on my skin. At the end of the road, a familiar figure appeared, Jesus. He stood there in the middle of a vast field full of lush flowers and grass, his eyes full of love, his gentle smile and his arms outstretched, as if welcoming lost children who had just gone through a difficult journey. I felt absolute peace in my heart, a feeling I had never felt before. No more fear, no more doubt, only warmth and complete joy. I understand that all the difficulties on this path are not to punish, but to train me, to help me become stronger, so that I am truly worthy of reaching this place. And when I look back, I see others also moving forward. Even though some are still stumbling, others are still faltering. But I know that if they keep going, if they don't give up, they will get here, where true love and light are waiting. I want to help people, want them to realize the truth. I asked him, what should I do to help them? But it all suddenly disappeared. I felt like I was being pulled back hard. I hastily said, Lord, I don't want to leave. I want to be with you. Jesus was kind and gentle. His gentle smile was gentle and warm, like a wave of gentleness toward Helen's soul. The light from him seems to cover the whole space, bringing a feeling of peace of mind, but also containing a profound depth. The person looked into Helen's eyes. Those eyes were full of understanding and clearly displayed, as if he had seen deep into her heart. You're not out of time yet, Helen. You have to go back to help them find the truth. It is understood that Helen may have felt helpless and alone in her search for the truth, but he also knew that she had all the makeup she needed to get through. Even if you are in trouble, even if you feel tired, the truth is always shining. It will guide you, Helen. He added that each piece of advice is like a small light burning in the dark night. You are a light in the darkness, and your light will help them see the way. Believe in yourself, Helen. God is always with you. The light on the road darkened. All images began to fade away, and I felt an invisible force tugging my soul back into my body. I experienced a suffocating, urgent feeling, like being sucked into a vortex that engulfed me. Then suddenly I woke up with a quick breath. The feeling of waking up in the hospital room, between the quiet sound of the heart rate monitor and the gentle light, made me feel like I had just come out of a long dream, a long trip. I saw familiar faces of relatives surrounding me, their eyes red with worry, as if they were waiting for me to wake up all day long. They looked at me, their lips trembling, but they seemed skeptical. The painful strangeness seemed impossible to hide. With all my remaining strength, I tried to recount the miracles I had just experienced, the wonderful scenes, the feelings I had never imagined before. I told of mysterious lights, of invisible voices, of encounters that I could not explain. I wanted them to understand. I wanted them to believe that I wasn't just experiencing some dream or vision. I clearly understand the change within myself, a miraculous rebirth that I have experienced. But they just looked at me with suspicious eyes, eyes filled with unanswerable questions. The words I say must seem like they are just the product of a person's delusion, things that are incomprehensible to their mind. I saw the confusion in their eyes, the skepticism when I mentioned strange things, and I understood that perhaps they were not ready to accept what I had just gone through. I felt a relieved yet defined sadness in my heart. Even though no one believed me, even though the surprised eyes and gentle words accepting to ignore my loved ones kept echoing in my head, I still couldn't deny what I had gone through. The things I witnessed, the magical moments of resolution I lived through, all still exist in my mind, identifying the sweat as if they had just happened. Not hallucinations or false dreams. They are the truth, a profound truth that I know I cannot deny. I automatically, although people cannot understand, I cannot forget the meetings and conversations with God that I have experienced. His words still echo in my soul, the gentle but powerful virtual lights, the warm and peaceful feelings when approaching him, all are still flowing in my veins. God has given me a message, a mission, and I know that whether the world doubts me or not, I must continue on this path. The gentle breeze also carried whispers in the air, as if an invisible communication was taking place that only I could feel. Every step, every decision in life, I must be guided, like an invisible hand guiding me on the right path. I know, even if no one believes me, I still have to continue to believe in what I've been through, in the signs I've received. And whether in loneliness or in moments of doubt, I will still maintain faith in my mission, because I know that not everyone can see or feel these conditions right now. But I believe one day they will understand. And until then, I will not let go, because the path I walk is the path of truth. Even though they cannot understand right now, I know that I have been entrusted with a sacred mission, one that I cannot turn away from. They may never believe me, but I won't let that get the better of me. The rebirth I experienced was not a duplication, but a new beginning, and I knew I couldn't let it go. Every breath, every heartbeat now carries a goal greater than anything,